there, Aries. How are you? It's me, Anissa from theinnerstereo, and I'm back again doing your October 2018 readings. So this reading is going to be from the 10th until the 15th of October 2018. And as usual, I'm going to be covering your relationship sector. So you can always apply this with anyone in your life. It could be with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, exes, fiance, crushes, colleagues, co-workers, family members, friends, anyone. I'm basically just going to pick up your relationship energy in general, alright? So don't forget to also check your sun, moon, or Venus sign, because I tend to notice that with my readings I resonate much more with my Venus rather than my sun sign. So you probably would want to check that one out too, okay? Right, so how are you guys doing right now, my fellow fire signs? I love this energy of you. You have the Seven of Pentacles. So it kind of like is, I'm going to be covering your energy first and then your challenges and your past, present, and future. With the Seven of Pentacles in here in this particular deck of mine, kind of like different with my Witch's Tarot. Because in my Witch's Tarot, it's kind of like is you wanting to get your return of investment because you felt like you have had it, like you want to get it. Like right now, I feel like you optimistically believe that whatever energy and effort that you have put into this relationship is going to manifest into itself. So this is you being very, very optimistic about it. There's something here that you're longing for, you know. You have the Ace of Swords, so there's like an idea that's kind of like coming, rushing into your head when you are quiet, when you actually want to manifest something, or when you actually want to know the truth of the matter. But when you chase that truth, it kind of like running away from you. But when you guys start to meditate and be one, you know what I mean, like one, and in Indonesia we call it like very, very calm, very, very calm and collected, like you get that idea inside of your head. And thirdly, you have the Ten of Wands in reverse. I feel like there's certain relationship that is in your life that you kind of like felt you want to let go, because the effort that is being put into that is not worthy of the return of investment there, because it's just kind of like been draining you. It's like a heavy burden on your shoulder that you just felt like, you know, it'd be very, very great for you to just kind of like let that go. Because you felt like you were the only person who was kind of like extending the effort, and second of all, because you kind of like felt that your ego has been trampled along the way when you try to extend those efforts to make this relationship work. What's challenging, you have the Knight of Chalices or Knight of Cups. In this particular deck of mine, the Knight of Cups kind of like talks about a serial charmer, or someone who just have a way with words, you know. They have a way with words. It's kind of like touch you in emotional basis. The Knight of Cups, as the over challenge, it also talks about a promise that has not been delivered, because there's either a delay or a postpone, or because they just say it to buy time, if you know what I mean. So they say it to please you. There is no practicalities. There is no dependability in that promises that they are offering you. Second challenge, you have the Hierophant card in reverse. So you could be dealing with someone who is non-committal, or someone who just, there's a saying that you can actually judge a person by the promises that they make towards you, whether they are able to kind of like deliver it or not. And I feel like they're the type of people, or they're the type of person who, whenever they say something, or whenever they kind of like give you a certain promise, they think that promises is just promises. They don't need to kind of like fulfill that. They don't need to kind of like deliver it in some ways. But there's also high possibilities that you could be dealing with a serial charmer who is non-committal in the now, though. So in the past, you have the Queen of Pentacles in here. The Queen of Pentacles kind of like talks about, so there's actually someone in your past who actually wants to be with you, and they're kind of like showing off what they have. You know, they're kind of like showing up like, hey, listen, like I'm once in a lifetime type of person. I'm going to be here. I can actually be reliable and trustworthy for you. Look what I have. This is what I have, you know, stuff like that. That actually kind of like makes you interested in them. So if you're dealing with one person, somehow this person kind of like felt hurt by you, by the fact that they kind of like think that they're kind of like you're walking away from them, and deep down inside they kind of like felt like why you walk away from them, or why you seem very, very cold and detached towards them, whereas deep down inside they're actually kind of like felt like they have offered you something that you actually really, really want. You have the Two of Swords in here, so it's kind of like is an indecision going on. It could actually talks about pride competition going on in the past, like ego battle going on in the past too. High competition, can I feel this empty arms? You know that song? It's by Aries. I think it's like the heart of the matter. You have the Nine of Cups in here. I feel like in this particular deck of mine, I interpret this differently than the rest of my deck. So please. The Nine of Cups in this particular deck of mine, yes, it talks about you feeling like you want to kind of like feel your own emotional fulfillment. But in this particular deck of mine, I feel like the bugs actually does. You do have some sort of fantasies or dreams that you want to build something together with them. Although you were focusing so much on yourself, but you focus on yourself in order to make what you have been planning in your head about this person happen. You know what I mean? So it's not a really selfish card. You kind of like felt that when I'm ready, when I make myself ready to be that position, then I could actually manifest this type of future that I have in mind with this person. We have the Temperance card. So you kind of like taking things slow. Taking things slow, be temperance, trying to keep things in balance and everything like that. But they kind of like felt a little bit hurt by you here because they kind of like felt like you're walking away from them. If you're dealing with two people, I feel like here, like there is no decision that has been made by you in the past but I feel like you are more prone to choosing the person who you have already kind of like build like a lot of fantasies inside of your head about them, whereas at the same time you kind of like leave behind one person here by you taking care of yourself. High competition, can I feel the empty arms? I've been trying to get down. And see, if I think of one song, I can't stop singing about them. I need to stop doing that. Okay, so this person who is the Queen of Pentacles, who kind of like show like, look, what I have with me, Aries, like trust me, I'm so dependable, something like that. They actually do want to build something together with you. But with the Two of Wands in this particular deck of mine, it also talks about a collaborative energy, meaning that they're not going to be the only person who extends efforts, but they actually also want you to join them doing that. So doesn't keep us warm. I've been trying to get down to the heart of the matter, but my will gets sweet. If you're only dealing with one person, I feel like this is a type of something like a connection or a relationship that is very, very, very new for you. I mean, the feeling, the energy of this relationship is very, very new for you, up to the point that they need to kind of like take a time off by themselves and kind of like wish for the universe, goddamn, can you please just give me like a book of instructions about how can I manifest this relationship with Aries to work, something like that, you know what I mean? So that's if you're dealing with one person. And then you, on the other hand, you actually want to make things work. You already have that master plan inside of your head about how to make this relationship work. But I feel like, because there's like a lot of ego battle in here with the Five of Wands, you have indecisions in here, Two of Swords, Five of Wands. I feel like it's either your personality clashes, your expectations kind of like clashes a little bit, your communication also clashes, your love language also clashes, that you do have like this clashes of energy the whole damn time. Like both parties actually want to make this relationship work if you're only dealing with one person. Both parties actually wants to make it work. But the thing is that you are so focused on the master plan, the grand plan, the blueprint and everything like that. You have the idea of how to make this relationship work, whereas them, I mean, like, I'm gonna call you out a little bit. You guys focus so much of what's going on in your head. They focus so much on what's practical and what's real. You know what I mean? Like they want you to just kind of like collaborate, make it simple, work it together. Okay? And by you doing so, and because of this clashes and clashes and clashes, I feel like both parties doesn't have that feeling of emotionally secured enough so that you could be vulnerable towards one another and to actually kind of like solve down to the root of the problem, you know what I mean? Because you do have the tendency to become the Seven of Swords in here. Well, it's kind of like, it's like a bad card. Yes, it is. You have the Knight of Wands in here, so you kind of like is showing something towards them that is actually not the real you. That is actually not the real you. You could be dealing with two people though with the Seven of Swords in here. It's like you just want to keep them away from your life. If you're dealing with two people, I feel like the person B, someone who kind of like felt a little bit hurt by you kind of like walking away from them, wanting to take care of your own life, Aries. Like you just don't want to deal with them anymore. Like you don't even bother to do it yourself. You just put like a puppet out there to scare the crowds. And they are kind of like isolating themselves in the now. Whereas the other party who wants to build something together with you, they wanted something real, they wanted something that is tangible, both of you working together. You guys are kind of like right now busy with the master plan. So it does have like a little bit of an energy clash in here. Let's see the future. I've been trying to get down. Let's see, probably until 16, yeah? I don't know when I'm gonna upload it, so probably until 16th of October. Kind of like recording this on the 12th, so yeah, until 16th. Yeah, yeet. What is up with this one? The thing about living inside of your head is that sometimes when things get too real, it makes you disappointed in some ways. And I feel like you guys are so focusing on your money in the now that, yeah, you guys are so focused on your money in the now that I feel like relationship or love is not really your priorities and you guys don't want to stress much about it. You have that go with the flow attitude in here. I mean, you do have the wants and the needs to kind of like build a future together with someone, but to actually make it into realities and work through it like on a day-to-day basis, I feel like it's not really your priority in the now. Okay? If you have one person, this person actually still, see, there's like a lot still, like it's like a connection that no one can run away from. They try to stop thinking about you. They try to kind of like fall out of love by you, but they just couldn't. They just couldn't deny the fact that you guys make them happy. They just couldn't deny that fact that you guys make them happy emotionally and also collectively, because they felt like they have manifested you into their life. It sounds so cheesy. Dang. It sounds so cheesy, but yeah, they kind of like felt that, you know what, if we were to kind of like work things through together with you, like you can actually lead to this. This is their belief in it, okay? But they kind of like is a little bit disappointed by you with the Lover's card in here, because again, as I said, they kind of like sense you are being too calculative and being like a little too distant from them. You guys are so much focused on your money, and you guys are so much focused on your word of confirmation. They actually want something different. You know, like you guys are so focused on word of confirmation, I love you and stuff like that. Words and everything like that, they are actually focusing on something else. Like they want you to kind of like call the shots. They kind of like want you to be the person who kind of like leads where this relationship is going by kind of like putting like a little bit of effort and getting to know each other. If you're dealing with two people, it's kind of like funny to me. Why? Because yeah, this person is going to be person A, who you have built that thought of building together with them. Like they're gonna kind of like feel a little bit disappointed by you because they sense you being that way. The past person who you walk away from, they still have this belief in here, but I feel like you guys are not having it. I mean, like you have the Nine of Wands in here, so there's still like a little bit of a denial attitude, whereas it kind of like is clear in this card in the middle of your reading that you have the Six of Swords and reverse, both of you. So both of you try to move to calmer water, try to experience things that are newer. and much more exciting, but you know, something always bring you back together. But I feel like they kind of like felt it more than you. You just don't want to deal anything with them. Okay, so let's kind of like, I kind of like want to clarify this Lovers card in reverse in here. Something always brings me back to you. It never takes you long. No matter what I say or do. Yeah, because, you know, they're going to feel like the Lovers card in reverse because they feel mentally imprisoned by you. But they don't know if you guys are kind of like standing on the same page, even though you already kind of like confirmed it to them from time to time. But they don't feel very, very much emotionally secure. Are they someone who is emotionally high maintenance? I don't feel that way. Okay, because it's the Queen of Pentacles. It's just someone who kind of like, look, Aries, I have this in my life. I feel like you're going to be interested in this. And they are not emotionally high maintenance, but they kind of like want like a little bit of you putting in the work. And they're not emotionally high maintenance, but they're kind of like demanding when it comes to actions. You know what I mean? Okay, something like that. So it's up to you which kind of like path you want to choose. If you felt like the person A is kind of like worthy for you to kind of like make that type of actions towards, yeah, you probably would want to work things out because they are very, very serious with you. The past person though, who you kind of like chose to walk away from, they have the Ten of Pentacles, but I feel like you no longer want to have anything to deal with them, so it's fine. Okay, so I really hope that you guys enjoy my reading. I'll see you guys in a few days for your bi-weekly. Bye-bye.